Preparing to live stream on Facebook. So always takes a little while as we are doing all of our clicks. I do believe we are almost ready and up and running. And we are live. How exciting. Hello and happy Friday. Welcome to Let's Talk with Camila. Thank you so much for joining me today. What I wanted to share with you today is questions that I get asked often, which is, what do you do when counseling? What can I expect? So what I thought I could talk about today is give you some tips that therapists use with their clients, tips and strategies that I use with my clients as well. Therapy is about giving you tools that help you to navigate life. I tell my clients that when we have a problem, we go to our mental toolbox and we look for a solution to that problem. And if that tool doesn't exist in your toolbox, then you get stressed out, you get frustrated because you don't know how to solve your problem. So what a therapist does in essence is help you to put another tool or a few tools in your toolbox so that when the next time that you have another issue, you can refer back to the new tools and use them. And this, of course, helps to lessen anxiety and hopefully gives you more confidence to deal with life's events as they unfold. So here's a few tips that I'd like to share with you. The first one is journaling. I know that you've heard about this before. People just normally do this, but it actually is a very useful technique. It's a very powerful strategy, in fact. So the idea is that you get out of your head whatever is bothering you. So writing it down is a great way to do this. Write down your thoughts, any feelings or ideas you might have. It's also a great way to explore issues that you may not feel comfortable talking about just yet. So, get yourself a journal. I call it the mental health journal, but you can call it whatever you'd like. And it's not, the Dear Diary of sorts that we've been told about in the past. Is just jotting down. It could be point form. It does not need to be formal in any way, shape, or form. For me personally, I journal with my email draft. My email draft folder is full of, thoughts and ideas and feelings and things. I don't send any of these emails, but that's where I explore and write away on my computer. The second thing is using a calendar to record your moods. So just take the monthly calendar and record how you feel. Use colors. For example, blue could be when you're feeling sad, red for when you're upset, yellow for when you're happy, maybe brown when you're frustrated. It's up to you. Use whatever color combination legend that you prefer. And that little box could be divided in half or in thirds. So for example, if you start the day feeling sad and then you get better, then you would color a portion of it blue. And the purpose of doing this is to look for patterns. What therapists do is they help you to interpret, explore, and understand your moods. It's actually used in cognitive behavior therapy and dialectical behavior therapy, this kind of tool. And it's very, very useful. Often we have clients, if I say to them, how have you been lately? And they'll say, well, not so great. But when they look at their calendar of how they've been feeling, they actually have had way more good days, way more positive days than not. But then, the feeling or the interpretation from a personal perspective is it hasn't been good this week. When in essence, if you actually look at what's been written down or what's been what you've recorded, it's a completely different story. And then we can look at that as well. The third thing is, for every negative thought that you have, think of a positive one. So this could be habit forming. For example, negative thoughts. So first of all, negative thoughts don't have to consume you. I mean, we all have them, right? But instead of making yourself wrong or ignoring these thoughts, try to think of something positive about it. So for example, if you slept in, instead of, saying something negative, what you could say is, well, my body needed more rest today. So finding a way to spin it so that you can have a positive thought for every negative thought that comes up. Number 4, make a list of people that are your good friends, people that you trust. This will give you a sense of not being alone. When you feel lonely or down, or you feel like there is someone that you really want to talk to, you would look at this list and you can source out someone to call. If you have I would recommend putting it in a notebook, because if you have to, resort back to social media or your cell phone contacts, then you have to filter through all the other people, and then you may forget about the people that are really important to you. So I just recommend having a list separate in a little notebook or on a separate page that you've written somewhere. Number 5, go for a daily walk. And the key is daily. This is so super important. Many of us don't exercise regularly, or, right now, for example, we can't get to a gym or to a place where we can go exercise. So movement on a daily basis is super important. And walking is probably the best form of that. And why? One is because your body, when it's stressed and anxious, creates cortisol. So we need to be able to wear it off. And walking is one way of doing it. If you're walking outdoors, which obviously is what's recommended, it soothes the mind. It wakes up your soul. And it just makes you feel good to get that extra oxygen. So walking on a daily basis. Number 6, have a self-care plan. We talk a lot about self-care in therapy. So, what is self-care? It's what do you do for yourself? What do you do to give your body and your mind a boost when you're feeling yucky, right? So I'd like you to think in terms of the 5 senses. Is there a special tea that you drink? Do you take a warm bath? Do you have a cozy blanket or sweater that you like to put on? Do you engage in a special activity? Whatever that is, have a care plan that you go to and that's easily accessible. Number 7, and the last one, is hygiene, sleep hygiene. This is so important. It's about looking at a bedtime routine. And again, it also involves mindful activity. So what do you do at the end of your day to prepare you to go to sleep? Like, what are the things that help you to calm down? So I'd like you to think about, babies or young children. Often they're very active during the day, and it takes a while to help them to calm down so that they can go to sleep. And so parents have routines for them. They'll, give them a warm bath, maybe something warm to drink. Maybe they'll sit down and read a book and, play some quiet music. But whatever all that is, it's to quiet down the mind so that the child will fall asleep. Well, somewhere along the way, adults have forgotten this. Adults don't do it. They go to work, and then because, assuming that you're tired at the end of the day, you're just automatically going to go to sleep. The problem is that when you're anxious or you're worried and you've got a lot of cortisol inside of you, it's difficult to, get to sleep. And so it's important that we have a sleep routine. We're going to have some special guests come on that will help us talk about how we set up our homes, how we set up our lives, so that we can promote a better environment for ourselves that will help us to sleep. And so the idea here is for you to implement all of these, obviously all of these tips. But if you can only implement 1 or 2, then I would say you're well on your way to being mentally healthy. And as always, thank you so much for joining me today on Let's Talk with Camila. And of course, you can find me at letstalkwithcamila.ca. Happy Friday. Have a fabulous weekend. Okay. Now I got to figure out how to stop.